Hey, this is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about ID theft, but I want to talk about it from an email that was sent to me for someone that's looking for help. Just to give you a little bit of background, they stated that they were a victim of ID theft, and they found out that it was in the early 2000s they were sued at a false address, and it looks like that there was a default judgment, and we all know that there's a 20-year on a default judgment. So they got the default judgment in 2006. The case was dormant and revived by a debt collector who filed a change of attorney for the original plaintiff in 2020, and I never lived at the address they listed for me. They served it back in 2006. I no longer live at a different address that they served me in 2020 when the case was revived. And they took over $4,000 from this person. And so you can imagine that the person is very emotional. Just imagine waking up in the morning and $4,000 is out of your bank account. And you know, I get these emails all the time. There's another one in here that I'm going to respond to. And to give you, I'm just going to lay it out just because this is what we do. This is exactly what we do, and this is why people send me these letters. It's not about some type of quick fix. This is talking about real deal, emotional situations. How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to pay the mortgage? How am I going to pay the bills? This is what this stuff is all about. And this is what I told the person. This is what you have to do. Like, forget scouring all over the place. You came to the right place to ask the question. You got the right person to ask the question, and don't go to another channel. I want all channels to be successful, but there's very few channels who are going to tell you what I'm about to tell you right now. They're going to tell you all this gimmick stuff. I really want to cuss right now, but I'm not going to, because I don't want to get the video taken down. But they're going to tell you all this gimmick stuff. If you have number one, if you have any judgments that are out there that you know about and it's lying dormant, and you live in a state that doesn't allow garnishments in your state, but they may allow, hold on, let me back up a little bit. I believe the reason why this account the money was able to be taken straight from the account, it was in Ohio, was that it was partially part of a business. In all 50 states, if it's a business, the debt collector can actually petition to go get the money straight out of your bank account. They can do that. If it's not a business, individual, they can only do it in the states that do not allow garnishments. I mean, to my knowledge, I'm not saying that I know everything, but I can tell you from what I've seen from actual customers, that is the way that happens. So these are the steps. No gimmick, no BS. These are the steps. This is what I told this person to do. Because they said that they actually have multiple accounts that they were a victim of ID theft. Like, this is not their account. And a lot of people, what they do, when they know it's not their account, well, number one, what we all do is when you don't have the money and you don't have the time and you're afraid, or you just don't have the time, or you say you're not going to pay nobody, you just don't show up to court. It's a default judgment. You're like, I don't got no money anyway. You don't think about the future of having some money. And then it just sits there, and then all of a sudden it can come back to haunt you, either when you're trying to buy a house or you're trying to do something to get a loan, and they say you got this judgment against you. So The first thing you got to do, this is what I told this person to do. First thing you got to do, I wrote them back, but they have multiple ID theft. Like they're saying this is literally not this person's account. And what they did is they just disregarded it and let a default judgment go on there. Well, according to them, they were not at that address. A default judgment got placed on there. They were never served. And then they had moved, and it was sent to the second address to get because the time was running out, and it got another debt collector took it over as the attorney, and they said that they're going to go and collect it, and they went and took the money out of their account. This is something that a lot of debt collectors are starting to do now, is they're looking at old default judgments and they're like, hey, I want to go and help you get that. That actually happened to me with an account where I was part of another business that made zero money, and they got a judgment in a whole nother state, and I was unaware of it. And by the time it made it to my state, I was like, well, what the hell is this? And we went back and forth, and we ended up having to do a settlement just so I could just do away with it. So I know what this feels like. I know what the processes is. And I can tell you right now, if you go to any attorney, all they're going to try to do is try to get you to do bankruptcy, or they're going to try to get you to do settlement. There is nothing an attorney is going to be able to do to fight this here. I'm going to tell you what you have to do to fight this here. The first thing is you got to follow the steps in your area. Follow the steps in your area. Go to that the court clerk tells you on what to do to have it reopened. And you better have a damn good reason on why it's going to need to be reopened, because if they don't believe you, and it's not stated in a way, because stuff is different in all areas. We live in the United States, but it's different in all areas. Follow the steps to a T. Don't get lazy. Write it down. I don't care if you don't got a computer where you can print it. Write it on paper. Follow the steps that the court clerk tells you to do so you can get your money back. Follow those steps. But that's not going to end it right there. You're going to need, when you're first steps is to get your money back. Second steps to prove that it wasn't you. How can you get this reopened to prove that it's not you? There are laws in place that say if you don't do anything within 6 months, that's in my area of Wisconsin, if you don't do anything within 6 months, regardless if it's not yours or not, the court may choose not to even do anything. They'll say you had enough time. Now, if you can prove that you wasn't properly served, you can bring it up, all of that stuff, maybe. But I'm telling you, the way the laws are written, these debt collectors have went in and they've made it to where if they could try to say that you were served, the law states send it to the last known address. It was not forwarded to anything. You're going to have to fight hard and look at every rule and every possibility in your area to see what you can do. To see what you can do to, number one, get it reopened so you get your money back. And then number two, have it reopened so you can prove that this was not you. That you can prove that this was not you. This is going to be very difficult for this individual because they're going to try to wear you out. They're going to, even if you get it reopened and you get your money back, they're going to go like crazy to get that money back because they've had it in their hands and they know that you got it. And they're going to try to look at every rule to say, every technicality to say that you should not get the money back because you had the opportunity to tell them that that you were a victim of ID theft. That you were a victim of ID theft. I can say that this one might be even harder for the person to go through than someone who just had their money taken out of their account and then it was given back, and then you're going to go through court to try to see what type of resolution you're going to have. Because really, what this comes down to is that this person should not lose one dime. At least when the other people go to court and they get their money back, they know, hey, I did owe you. We're going to come to some sort of resolution. I did owe you. This individual does not owe this company. They were a victim of ID theft. It was not their account. But because everything went through legally, it was never contested. This is going to be a very hard case for this individual. And no attorney, which they stated right here, no attorney, excuse me, my nose running a little. No attorney, they stated it right here, that no attorney, no legal aid, no pro bono, nobody wants to help them. You want to know why they don't want to help them? Because number one, they already know what the outcome of this is going to be. This is one of those where this individual, what I told them, they need to start thinking about the outcome that they want it to be. They're getting ready to learn how the power of positive thinking, the power of putting the pen to paper, the power of going and getting the documents and from the necessary people that I told them to get it from, the power of following the steps by steps of what I told them to do by going to the clerk's office and studying exactly what the rules are in your area. If your $4,000 is that important to you, and I can feel it that it is, I wouldn't doubt that when this individual was writing the email that they had tears coming out of their eyes. Heart was beating. Because I've went through it before. And I ended up paying $43,000 to get out of my situation. So I know what it feels like when you didn't even have to do it. It wasn't even yours. So these are the steps. These are the steps. Step number one is you got to get those credit reports. Well, step number one, go to the courthouse because you got to get the $4,000 back. Regardless, you got to get the $4,000 back. Go to the courthouse, step by step, ask the clerk. They're not going to give you legal advice, but you say, give me the documents. Give me the link. Go and look at the rules in your state that pertain to what debt collectors can do under this statute of attaching your bank account and getting funds. Did they get the right amount? Were you supposed to have another notification at your address that you can prove that you did have a forwarding address? Did they send that to a person? Or did they have a servicer go there, or did they mail it? If a servicer went there, who did they give it to? If a servicer went there, did the servicer get notified that you don't live there? These are the things that are breaking the rules, and you need to find out so you can get your money back to you. Like the technicalities that they could have broken is what's going to help you get your money back. So now, you get all of that stuff. You do some looking up online for your state. The wage attachment for bank levy, the rules that debt collectors must abide by to even be able to do it. How do they got to serve you? Like it's different for every state. Next, because you stated that you had multiple ID thefts against you, you got to go get your fresh, complete credit reports that shows the furnishers information, not from these free places like Credit Karma and all of those. Get complete. There's a link below this video where you can get all three reports with all the furnishers. You need all the data. Comb through your reports. Whatever is ID theft, you immediately circle those and on a piece of paper so you could do the homework a little bit for the police. Put it on a piece of paper, go to the police station, file a police report and say, I'm a victim of ID theft with all of these accounts and these dollar amounts. If the dollar amounts are high, it could be more than just a regular police report for ID theft. It could actually take it into another level to where they have to actually do more of an investigation, just depending on the dollar amount of fraud against you. But in most cases, the police aren't going to do blank. In most cases, the police aren't going to do blank. So you take that police report. You have the list of all of the furnishers on your credit reports. These are the addresses that must be maintained by individual companies, creditors, debt collectors, whoever places information on your credit report. That address must be true. And you send copies of every company that you were evicted. Like if you put it on your paper, don't just put it with that one. You tell them all of these companies, including yours, I was a victim of ID theft and I want this off of my reports and I want this debt voided, not canceled. This is not my debt. Don't send a 1099-C to the IRS canceling that debt. This was not my debt. I was a victim of ID theft, and you send that police report. It's going to take 2 weeks to 30 days, maybe 45 days for them to respond. ID theft is all over the damn place. It's happening all over. I'm getting a whole bunch of ID theft emails now. So you send that to them, 2 weeks to 45 days for them to respond. They might send you another document that says, okay, you're a victim of ID theft, but you have to fill out our form. We want it on our form. They have a right to do that because they have to turn it into whatever department they have that's going to show it and document it the way for their process, and then they're going to, do their due diligence on it. That's their right. A lot of people right there give up because they're like, I just sent you all the stuff. Why do I got to fill it out on your paperwork? Do you want to get rid of the ID theft or do you want to cry about the additional work that you have to do? All right, we're going to get it done. So you fill out their paperwork, you send it to them again, send a certified mail so you can have proof that they got it. It might even be going to a different department than the one that was on the furniture sheet. Next is you want to package up all of that again, all of it, the same one, and you send that to all 3 credit reporting agencies so they can initiate their investigation from their side, and it gets it over to the furnishers from a third party that's not connected to you. And then you also send that to the attorneys for any of the debt collection companies or companies who their attorneys that are on your judgments or on letters that were sent to you, whatever. You send them copies of that complete thing. And you send it to the court. And even with all of that, for this situation, this is what has me so steamed because I went through it myself. When I didn't even owe, and it got to a point to where the law worked against me. The law actually worked against me, and I hope for this individual that the laws are not the same in their state to where it works against them. Because it's a lot different to have to come to a resolution on money that you owe for money that you did get. But it's a whole nother deal when you have to come to a resolution, potentially, for credit and money that you never received. That's just the way that our laws work in our country. All right. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process and my 2-phase settlement process. This is the way we do it. There is no credit repair that, if the furnishers are not involved in the process of repairing your credit, all you're doing is just getting stuff off your credit report, and you're just like walking down life looking over your shoulder like this person was, because it come back to get you. Come back to get you. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website yourthenumber3scores.com. If you have debt collectors coming after you, I still have my free 3-pack of letters that could save you literally hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and non-monetary headaches, worries, anxiety. And yes, I do ask for a donation, and I thank everyone that gives a donation, because those letters are saving people. They're saving people. When you give that letter to a debt collector and they know that at least you're not going to get ran over, I'm telling you, it makes a difference. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.